and welcome. In this lesson I will teach you about creating kinematic body using GD Script. Kinematic body is class created for Godot game engine. You can create this kinematic body in Python directly, but you will need lots of knowledge and time for this. In Godot game engine you have a class with many properties and methods set for using. A simple way to create it is using syntax KinematicBody2D. This kinematic body is a class with a few properties here and lots of methods. Mainly this is methods for movement and testing where is this kinematic body in space. I'm using KinematicBody2D for a two-dimensional space defined with vector 2. As you know, vector 2 have vertical and horizontal, let me say x and epsilon definitions. For kinematic body we need one collision shape. A simple way to make it is to define one variable with a collision shape 2d.new, and we need some shape for collision shape. In our case I will use rectangular shape, so we have another variable shape, rectangular shape 2d.new, and this is mainly everything you need for initial definition. So you need kinematic body, collision shape for it, and rectangular shape. If you use directly creation of kinematic body from design window, you can use some of their properties and methods, but you will need to add these elements. So if you need collision shape, you will need to add child node and create some collision shape if you use GD Script, or just select and add here in design window. And for the last part, the shape, you need to define it. So how to define shape? You can simply go to property or inspector window and select which kind of shape you like to use it. So if you want circle shape, you will click circle shape. If you want rectangular shape, you will click rectangular shape. And with this you can have your kinematic body and the collision shape for it. Also you can add a sprite and image for it. When you need to add another kinematic body, you will go again here and add another kinematic body. If you need second, you will go again, and for every one of them you need to set collision shape, etc, etc. But we will not use this method. This is good when you have 1, 2 or 3 kinematic body, but if you want to create kinematic bodies with different properties and many of them, the best solution is to use directly GD Script for creation. So we will need to have one function. Function will be create kinematic with some properties This function will be called with a name and property definitions. You see, create kinematic, and as I say previously, this kinematic body will have kinematic body 2D, collision shape 2D, rectangle shape 2D. We will add one sprite just for the image, and then we will define extents for the shape. Extents for the shape are vector to dimensions of a shape. This is horizontal and vertical dimension of your collision shape. In our situation we have two variables because this is rectangular. We have rectangular side width and height. And when this is defined, our collision shape, defined here, collision, needs to have shape. This is method shape. See, set shape or get shape as shape. We can use here also syntax as set shape, but if we use this syntax set shape, we need to say set shape and define variable. This is variable of the shape, rectangular. So our collision have a set shape. Sprite will have a texture. We will explain it later. And now we are adding a child. This is node. So we are now adding node for kinematic body. What is this node? This node is collision shape. So our kinematic body after this line have collision shape. After this line, kinematic body have sprite, and we just set position. So where on a screen this kinematic body will be with set position. So with a set position, we define position. Also, our kinematic body will have a name because we will have many kinematic bodies. And last and most important thing is to add this node to your root node. So with .addChild you are adding this variable kin, which is kinematic body, with all of his child nodes, collision shapes, sprites, etc., etc. And now I will explain it a little bit in details. First, if you want to use sprite, you can preload some images. You can use on already. Also, you can define some variables as export variables. This is variable you can change in window. You see this toy position, blump position. You can change it using your root node because this is export variables. We will have export variables for a toy position and one other variable. This variable can be used here, but I don't want to fill you with so much information. And now let us see what are we creating. We are creating two objects with kinematic body. Kinematic body is visible here, as you see, and here. This object are some car toy and some, let me say, plastic flask or bottle or whatever. Some object on a screen. To see this collision shape, you need to enable in debug window set visible collision shapes. So you need to go to debug window and set visible collision shapes. And now just to explain this properties. We create two kinematic bodies. As you see, we call 2 times our function. First, data is object name. Where we use this object name, we use it in a name of our kinematic body. Other variables are position, extents, and image. Position are used for positioning kinematic body in a space, and we use toy position and bumper position, defined here as export variables. After that we define extents. This is variables for collision shape definition. We define it with a vector 2 and a vector 2 here. And image is just our preloaded image, car toy image or some other image which are here preloaded. Mainly this is all what I want to teach you in this tutorial, micro tutorial. And we have 2 objects here, but you can create as many objects as you like, with different images, different collision shapes, different width and height of collision shapes, etc., etc. Just adding right properties in create kinematic, calling of a function create kinematic. This example is part of new educational content. This educational content will be in a form of a book. You can pre-order it, but this content is not for sale yet. And we will use this book just to teach you some kind of coding for this. So GD Script can be used to create directly object on a screen. And let me show you again. Here we have some object here, as you see, for simulation. We use GD Script in autonomous system and autonomous car course for simulating work of autonomous system in vehicles and driver assistant system. These collision shapes are great for simulating sensor like radar sensor or infrared sensor or photo image cells for object detection. And GD Script, because it's Python based, is generally a great tool for this simulation. And when you have good simulation in this 2D or 3D simulated environment, you can after that program autonomous system computers or car computers or different kinds of car electronic interfaces for example, interface for detection object in front of vehicle or parking system or whatever. Thank you for watching. We will continue with this tutorial, and you will have lots of high quality information. Goodbye.